You know, saying take a couple coaches off of that, and whoever feels some type of way, I'm probably talking to them. You know, but it's okay. It's okay. You know, put your big britches on, bring your horses, and hey, we can get it on. So,
you know, for me, I know kids talk about did we win region this year, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, 10 years from now, like I don't even know who we ran in the region, but I know if you won state.
right.
So, you know.
True.
Yeah.
True. And I mean, track is one of those sports where the faster everybody goes or the farther everybody jumps or throws, it just pushes the sport forward. It makes it better for everybody. You know, even those kids that are getting left behind, if you run a 13-3, you don't make it to state, either you're going to do one or two things. You're going to quit or you're going to go get better. And, you know, to be quite honest, if somebody ran faster than me and I got there and they didn't, I wouldn't even want to be there, you know, me personally. I mean, I remember in high school, I think we ran 3:23 in the 4x4, you know, back then that was moving for us. And our crosstown rival, we were getting to the state meet, they were leaving, they had gold medals on. You know, we beat them by like 100 meters in the 4x4. And they're like, oh, we won the state championship. And we're like, what did y'all run, like 3:30 something? You know, I'm like, we didn't even make it in, you know, with a 3:23. So, you know, it's just kind of like, I wouldn't even want to be at the state meet, really, if I knew I didn't truly deserve to be there. If I knew there were people faster than me not making it in. And I think overall, those kind of, you know, those performances, and when those girls get left home that run 12-4 and their season is over with, you know, obviously I'm going to look at them. That's what I'm looking for. College coaches missing, knowing all this that you just talked about, what are college coaches missing? Because I go to the state qualifying meet, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like sometimes I might be the only college coach there, with the exception of a handful, not very many, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna tell them about it. I'm not gonna tell them about it. So, what are college coaches missing out on? You know, obviously we know this stuff, but what would you guys tell them as far as recruiting wise if they're not coming to get those kids?
Man, look here. A prime example would be, I think this was 2005 or 6. A guy named Felicio Newman out of Green Sea, Floyd.
Yep.
If you did not go to the state meet, you would not know who this boy is.
That's right.
And I believe if we would have had a format like we were just speaking of, and he would have been able to go against the 3, 4, and 5A. I mean, well, when the 5A then, just the 2, the 3, and the 4A kids. There's no telling what this young man would have ran. He was a 10-4, 10-5 kid, went in state by 2 buses in the 100.
Wow.
After coming back from running the 110s, and he was a terrible hurdler and beat everybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
But there are kids from small programs like that that are like daggone diamonds in the rough, and you miss them because you're not at the meets. Some of these schools that are out of the state, I understand that. But for our in-state universities and colleges, there's no reason why the only meets you come to is the Bojangles in the damn state meet.
That's it.
Like them the only ones. And you're missing, and you know, I hear a lot of coaches, you know, we get together and why aren't the in-state kids staying in state? Yeah, the in-state coaches ain't coming to get them.
Right.
Or when they come to get them, they throw them 2 pennies and a hot dog.
Yeah.
And be mad when they go across the border and they running in regionals and nationals they freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, it's just, I mean, I believe our kids are missed on so much. Now, a lot of it is because we don't have an indoor. And so you don't get to see them early. And a lot of our kids, like Coach McCoy hinted on, a lot of our kids don't really start hitting their stuff until late in the season. So it's a region time when they really start rolling. And that gives them 3 meets. And so I understand that window is short. But we, as the high school coaches, we bank on y'all to have the eye.
I was just going to say that.
Let
me tell you something. Broome High School has a meet every Tuesday. and I'm there because I'm waiting to see the girl that pops up out the blocks, runs everybody down, and only run 12.9. Because I know.
I can't stand Bruin. They stay with something. God, Lord, they make my life hard. Boy,
that was one example. I'm at all these regular season meets, not just the big invitationals. And a lot of times I'm the only coach there. You know, I mean, Coach Butler can attest to that. When he was coaching at Upstate, I was at all these meets trying to get these girls that were diamonds in the rough, you know, and train them up. I feel like that's one reason I try to stay in state. I mean, obviously it's hard for me to afford girls out of state, but I just know the talent that's here. And by the time it gets to state, I'm like, you know, if y'all ain't looking for these girls by now, I just think they're missing the whole boat a lot of times with our state. A lot of the in-state schools. Obviously, those bigger schools can go get whoever they want. But you talk about your mid-majors, your D2 schools like that. I mean, I feel like they're missing out. They're missing out on some studs.
Brandon, I had a meet earlier this year. Like I said, with about 15 teams there, and I think Warren, were you at that one?
Nah, we didn't come only because. But when you went over 12, I was like, man, that's a long night, man.
Look here.
Dinner with my daughter sometime.
It was ugly packed. It was ridiculous. But at that one meet, I think we had 7 mid-majors on that track.
Yeah.
Wow.
7 kids that ended up signing mid-major. And it's like, how do you not come to a meet to where it has that many kids and it's that rich in talent?
Right.
You weren't there, so you weren't there, so you missed it.
Yeah.
And it's right here in the backyard.
You know what I think too, Charles? Like it's been very few coaches will do it because they're like, I know your kid. But you know, an example, if you had a girl that ran, I'm trying to think of a school. Well, I'm gonna pick on you, Coach Morton, but you don't do this. But I'm just saying. So if you had a girl, because I don't want to call any other coaches or anybody out like that, and I know it won't be personal. So if you had a girl,
being real nice.
Yeah, to run 13.5, and just say like the score in y'all's conference would be 13-3. And they'll tell me, no, I can't give them any money because they won't score in the conference. I'm like, but if you can develop, and if you a good coach, and you know they only run 3 months out the year, why can't you get her to a 12.9 if you that good of a coach?
Coach.
Because they ain't, coach. Because they ain't. I'm gonna say it. Because they ain't good.
I've called a school, and you know, I had a kid who I thought was definitely would fit on their team. They going off the performance list, not just from that season. I went 3 seasons back. Oh, coach. Okay, I'm just gonna pick the 100. Oh, coach. We only offer money to a kid that runs 10.5. Hell, you had a 10.5 kid on your team in 3 years. What you talking about?
Right.
I was just about to say the same thing, partner.
They try to hold on to those. They try to hold on to those standards, man. But the biggest thing I'll say from my personal experience of going back and forth doing both, even when I was at UNC Upstate, Coach Morton, no, Coach McCoy, no, nobody was thinking about us. And in all due respect to the former head coach who had great respect for me to even want me to be there, you know, the one thing I promised coaches, I said, man, I owe it to this state that I got to get out to these meets. It don't matter. Like, I don't care if it's a dual meet. I got to get out to these meets because the one thing I see that we're going back to what college coaches not understanding. When I see a college coach coming to a meet that's not just a big meet or whatever, it shows me that you really invested in that athlete, that you really care. They like, if you just internet shopping, if you on Amazon getting you a track athlete, you know, that ain't telling me that you really too bought in. I got, you know, but you got to go see that product, like Coach Morton said, that young lady that jumps up out the block and still run everybody down or still run 13.3 or 13.5, whatever. And you like, oh man, that's okay, man, that's okay. She a 12.7 now. She just don't know it, you know. Or like you say, you calling the coach and you can fit in and that 13.5 and they got 13.3 to score, but they ain't trying to put that work in because they Amazon shopping. They on Amazon and they want them to pull up and drop it off at your doorstep. They don't really want to work. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to work. See, me, and Coach Morton know how I am. I'm always put there first. I'm 60% faith, 40% what I know. And I'll put that anytime. I always humble myself. I continue to learn. But from a faith standpoint, if a kid see you showing up to their meets more than one time or coming to check them out, that does something to a kid, man. That makes them feel, man, that coach invested in me. He cared about me. And you know what else it touched? It touched their parents. Now you got the backing of the parents. That's recruiting of itself. And when you actually get an athlete, that athlete now go recruit the next person. And I'll put it out there. I don't care. Coach Morton, I don't care. When I got to upstate, they told me it never be done. They told me we can't go get the state champion. We can't go get those higher ones. We don't do this and that, or we don't have the money. We can't do it. I said, man, let me tell you something. There's a will, there's a way. I said, if you can show me some money and they got some half decent grades and we can find this package, we can get it done. And I said, I told him, just wait on it. Coach Morton know what happened after that. I said, man, I'll believe in it. Field the dreams. If you build it, they'll come. As long as you get it, later it started to recruit itself. And they start, and guess what? And then them kids that I recruited, now I'm at track meets and they with me. So now they speaking for me. They ain't got to say a word. They like, oh man, yeah, you need to be here. This where it's at. I ain't worried about it because I know those schools that have these standards and say this person can't make it, that person can't make it. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? You got these ridiculous standards because you don't want to do the work. And lastly, I'll say this. I'm going to say what it is. I'm from this state. They sleep on South Carolina. At the end of the day, they pick from the very top. They pick from the very top. These big Power Fives go fight over our ones that we know that's running these certain times. And then you go back, and I go back to, here we go, Coach Morton and Coach McCoy. I think you came to a practice one day when I had her. But then you miss out on the Sarai Hill. When I had Sarai Hill that was at Riverside, her fastest was 12.5, 12.58 in the 100 all year. She got the state. She ended up making it to state. She was one of the last ones to get in. She ran 12.37. Okay. She didn't run but 25.5, 25.57 in the 2. And that's all she ran all year. She was running like 25.8, 25.9. But later, when I get her within the next year, now that she goes from that 12.3, she runs 11.46. Then she goes from that 25.58, she runs 23.5. And she's at the first round of the national championship. But this was somebody that nobody knew about. It was just, I'm walking around, I'm competing with Barton and North Greenville. I'm like, oh yeah, like this.
Conference Carolinas, baby, Conference Carolinas.
I'm like, yeah, we can make this happen. You know what I'm saying? And nobody's seen that coming. And we were still in the A-Sun where Kennesaw was still tough. And you already know what Jacksonville working with. And they did not see us coming. And the first thing Ron said, where did you get her? I said, man, in the backyard. What do you mean? I said, nah, for real, in the backyard. She's about 10 minutes away. Like, what? you know, I had those. And when I had a Adama Uzor, how do Adama Uzor even go mid-major and, you know, big as she was in the triple and the long? And you have those type of athletes, or, you know, you bring them in, or Javen Holston was down at, what's that school down in Strom Thurmond, down there. Ain't nobody going over there on that side of the creek to see what these kids are doing. But this kid had ran 10.7, 10.71 in the first meet. Then I seen he ran 10.65 somewhere, and it was down between me and Coach Whitaker at Savannah State. We were the only two schools could recruiting them.
Coach, this was a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Boy, he beat me in my head. I remember that boy.
Hey,
He let me up.
You know what though, man? I'm gonna tell you. I've been training Haley Bishop for 4 years, so we never really did weights. And so when I talked to a bigger Division I school, I said she ran 11.75. I said she hadn't been on any weights, not like that. And I said, and she only run about 4 or 5 months out the year. But yeah, we need to get down to about that 11.5. I'm like, this girl, her balance is off. She's not that strong, and she has a big upside to it. She only run 4 or 5 months out the year. So if you put her on some weights and you get her balance right, she should be able to go 11.3.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
you said that, but look at They were on the same team. Angelique Bryant.
Yeah, well,
right?
Angelique, right.
Angelique Bryant. Yeah, she was strong because she was a tumbler and she did gymnastics. She didn't know how to come out the block. She didn't know how to do drills. And I got her that. And our first meet, what did she run? Was it 7.4? 7.4 high? The first meet, indoor meet in the 60. And people were like, what in the world? And I'm like, man, look, hey, but we know how the training was. We know, but guess what? No big school came after her. She ran 11.7 that year. No big school came after her. That year before her junior year, she ran 11.77. Nobody was really touching her. And I think she went on a visit to Grambling, went to Grambling State, and she was like, nah, I don't think I want to go there, coach. I was like, good.
Now, there's two sides to every coin. So
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you, what's up with these athletes that's just waiting on somebody that don't want them? Now I have to. Now me personally, I got to go with kids that are right for me. I'm looking for hard workers that don't get nothing but a pair of dirty spikes, and they might get a T-shirt. I can't go get the kid that gets a bunch of gear, because when they get the Converse, I'm not gonna give you a bunch of gear. I just don't. I mean, we get a decent amount of gear, much better than we used to. But I just run into so many kids now that are and I look for more like Aaliyah, Warren, like your girl that you sent me. Aaliyah got, we were on a recruit visit. She was in my car, and it was about time for her to go. She was sitting right there, and Aaliyah was really short. And Aaliyah goes, I want to come to Converse, Coach Warren. What I got to do? And I love that girl to death, man. And those are the ones that I got to get in my program. So I do think it's important for us to look for the right pieces. But a lot of times I get young ladies that, I just had a young lady tell me, I'm not going to go, but she's walking on somewhere to play another sport, and I offered her, a good amount of money. And so, you got kids that are, I don't know, I'm not going to say their priorities are mixed up, but they want that name on their chest. They want to be able to get on social media and write the little notepad note and have the picture with the uniform on. And, and I'm like, man, I just see so many kids that get in over their head. And I'm like, it's a business when you go to those bigger schools. They can go get another one like that. With me, I tell them, I have to make it work with you. If it don't work, I got to find a way. They don't have to find a way. They'll do away with you. And they don't, I think it's important to get that message across. And, what's y'all's opinion on that?
Let me jump on this real quick, just because you brought my girl Aaliyah. Man, I love that girl to death, man.
Oh yeah.
And I take it from when I first got her on through, her going to Converse. She comes in from Fairfield, and she's like, coach, I'm a sprinter. Like, well, what do you do? I'm like a 13.6, 13.7. I just run the 100 in the relay. I said, well, first off, this is RISD, we're 4A. So, for one, you're going to start running the 400 if you consider yourself a sprinter. And two, you're not just going to be doing one in a relay. Relay, that's like it's like eating dessert after your main course. Your point, it starts with the coaches, because if coaches aren't being real with their athletes, instead of trying to sunshine pump them, and saying you can go to any college you want. You want to go to. I know Clemson was not going to be looking at Leah. But if that's where she wanted to go, I would say, hey, look here. If this is where you want to go, these are pretty much the times that you're going to have to hit. And if you're not even close to these times, more than likely, they're not even going to bat an eye at you. So it starts with the coaches giving these kids a realistic screenshot of where they are now talent-wise, and say, I never told Aaliyah, you can't run this. All I said is, if this is where you want to be, this is the work you're going to have to put in to where you want to be. Now, if you put that work in, if we get there, well, that's awesome. But we both going to celebrate. We eating steak. We're going to be pleased and happy of the progress that we made, because more than likely, if you put that work in, you're going to be better than when you started. And she went from, an individual that never ran 100, first meet, I think she ran like a 106 to, senior year, she's running 59. 200, she's running 27 high, and now she's hitting 25 high. That to me is there's progress. We put the work in. She's a hard worker, and she's living the dream, running course. Because I was honest with her, say, hey, you might not be in this realm, but this realm, there's still a whole lot of schools. I tell my kids all the time, if you want to go somewhere, right, I'll find a place for you, but it might not be the place you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. I agree with you too. Like when I speak with my athletes and their parents, I tell them, I say, okay, the way the college is going to look at it is a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So these are the tier 1 schools. You have like LSU, Arkansas, like those. Then you have like, the lower tier 1 schools like Arkansas State and some of those schools. They still big Division 1 schools, but then you have your tier 2 schools, where it get into like, upstate and some of the schools like that. And then you get down to tier 3 schools, where you like Morton College. I'm like, so depending on where you fall in that tier, like if you're a tier 3 runner, don't look for USC or UCLA to call you. It's not gonna happen.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Nah. I'm a professional dream killer. Like, look, my kids get so depressed talking to me because I'm just brutally honest. Like, Charlie, you're a guy running 58 in the 400 hurdles. Carolina not coming. Do you understand that is a staple in their program? They're not coming. And I tell them that we have and Warren hit it right on the head. We have so many kids that are so unrealistic. But then it's not the kids. You have the coaches, and I'm going to go further, the parents.
Yeah.
Every parent believes their child is the next Christian Coleman. Shout to run 10-9. No, he's not. No, he's not. But there's nobody telling them that. He's the fastest sprinter on his team. He has this nice little pretty form. He has good high knees. And, oh, man, he's amazing. And you don't take him to the Coaches Classic so he can get his doors blown off by the real South Carolina sprinters.
Right.
And so the parents are looking at, oh, my baby's winning everything.
Mm-hmm.
My baby's winning everything. Like, why aren't these schools coming? They're not going to come. They're not supposed to come. Now, let me point you in direction of the schools in which your child fits. Now, then that becomes an issue. My son's too good for these schools. No, he's not. He's actually not good enough for that one. I'm boosting the gear up a little bit.
Charles.
And so, man, look, that's what I tell you. I'm a dream killer. Like I'm not. And the reason I am like this is because I went through that as an athlete.
Right. That's right.
I ran at Carolina my senior indoors. I went 6:34 in the 55. Only one I lost to was Troy Williamson. Right then and there, right then and there, okay, boom, you run fast. I'm at Carolina. I get a visit. I legit start telling every school, stop calling me. Don't call me no more. I'm going to Carolina. Don't call me no more. I'm going to Carolina. Not looking at these boys, they're recruiting 10-5s and 10-4s and 10, 10-5 was like the bottom. Like they're getting like these top tier kids in. And here I am, I ran one fast time. And now all of a sudden I'm thinking I'm going to Carolina. Now, Carolina came, Warren was at Clemson when Coach Foster called me.
Yeah.
And our teammate, Aries Curry, was there. And so now I done got off the Carolina horse, I'm going to Clemson. Foster called me, and Foster ran against my father in college. I've never been talked to like this by a college coach in my life. He had me depressed. Charles, guess what? You a fast 60 guy. That's all you'll ever be. You go to another school, I'm going to beat you every time. And you come here, I'm going to give you 2 books. Bro, like, Foster lit me up. But by this time, only coach I kept in contact with was Coach Vaught at Coastal Carolina. That's my man to this day. But I had turned everybody else down. And this was big. This was damn near, this was 90% in 4 rides. I'm sending them away because, no, I'm going to Carolina. I'm going to Clemson. Mm-hmm. And it, look, my father was realistic with me, but I didn't want to believe it. Man, ain't no reason these schools sending me all these letters. Oh, letters mess them up too. Oh my God. Oh, they sent me a letter, boy, it's generic. Everybody get them.
Right.
So Charles, so let me ask you. So you could have went to another school, been all conference in the Hall of Fame, All American, if you'd have went to a smaller school.
Yeah, now I did. I ended up going to Coastal Carolina.
Okay,
and
all right.
Yeah, I ended up going to Coastal Carolina. I had an amazing time there. I like my story because I get to tell kids about how the big time athlete gets on campus and parties the scholarship away. That was me, the fastest kid on campus, and I messed it up. And so I like telling that story because everybody have these amazing, great stories. I did. I messed it up, and so I'm the one. Do not follow that path. But yeah. Vault was the only one I kept in contact with. It was because I had such an amazing relationship with him. But I sent everybody. I mean, literally, my daddy cussed me out because I'm on the phone. And there wasn't no cell phones then, man. I'm on a house phone. Don't you ever call my house again? Hang up. Like, man, my daddy ready to kill me. Like, what are you doing? I'm going big time. I'm ACC, SEC. Nah, bro, no, you're not. And so since I went through that, like, I am a legit professional dream killer because I won't allow one of my kids to go through that.
Yeah, right. No, and that's good because them dreams turn to nightmares real quick when they get there. And I'm thankful I was in high school. South Carolina called me after I won the region meet, and the next week at state qualifier, I got the last qualifying spot. They stopped calling. My coach had stopped being depressed. He said, "You go to Carolina." He ran at Clemson, and he's like, "You go to Carolina, they might let you run at the home meets, and they're gonna try to put you in the multis." He said, "That's about all you're going to have." So you go to Winthrop, you already jumped the school record. You're going to go to every meet. You're going to have an opportunity to, travel and have a good experience. And I was like, man, that's all I need to hear. And, I didn't take it the wrong way. But, I know you guys are dealing with high school kids. That's one thing. When you tell them the truth, they take it the right way,
That's it. And that's also the other problem. And I think that also goes when y'all talked earlier, Warren brought up coach education. A lot of coaches don't know enough to even disseminate that information to the kids. They don't know them. They don't know themselves.
Well,
either they've never gone through it themselves. They didn't handle the recruiting process of the kid that actually signed, so they don't know that part either, and they don't talk to enough people to know it. And so they're not educated enough in that field to even be the dream killer because they don't know that's a dream that they need to kill in the first place.
Gotcha.
I can tell you really quick. Now, Morton, I think you remember this. I'm not gonna say the young lady name, but I'll just leave it. She was, I was recruiting her, and she's at Upstate now. But she kept telling me, "Oh, I'm going to A&T," or Troy looking at me, or I'm looking at, I think it was randomly like Mississippi State or something, whatever. And I'm like, okay, all right. So what are they saying to you? Oh, well, they say, this and that. They like me and everything, but are they offering anything legitly? What are they saying? Then it became, well, they said if I run this time, then I said, well, see, right there, it's telling you I said, they're telling you if you run this time. I'm telling you, if you come here now, this is what I'm gonna offer you. On top of you having a life scholarship, your school is going to be 90% paid. This is what I got. 90% paid. Who ain't taking it? Take the lead. The mama was like, yeah, well, we looking at some things. I said, I've been to 3 of your meets. Let me ask you something. I've been to 3 of your meets this year, and I went to an AU meet the year before. So let me ask you this. Out of them schools you talking about going to, or your top schools, which one of them been to see you yet? None. So it wasn't until, Morton, you remember this, I had a connection with, down in Florida, and then in the Dade County area, then St. Thomas Aquinas, I had some connections there. And it's like, well, coach, don't give my money away. I said, your money? What money? I said, the money that your mama gonna have to help you pay for school, because that don't nobody have no money until you committing and signing on the dotted line. That's it. I gave you an option. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I said, I can't wait all year. I have to keep moving. If you don't come, I have to fill this spot. I said, I'm upfront. I said, I don't want you to ever feel pressured. I won't ever do that to an athlete. I said to try to say, oh, you need to sign now. No, it's not that. No, what I'm telling you, this is what I have. First come, first serve. whoever accepted. But I've waited on you, and every time we talk, everything going good. But I'm your option. I'm over here like the side piece. You over here wanting to go everywhere else, and then when you come back, then you want to just check in to see is everything all good. No. So when I said that money was going, well, Coach, what about my money? Then the mother get on the phone. Well, I'm not too happy. You took her money. I said no. I said you can't take anything that was never yours. I said she had a place. I said so I went to Florida. I mean, I want to stay in state, but I went to Florida. I said, so this is what you have left. I said, so let me know. But I put a deadline. I said you got the Sunday to let me know. I think this was on a Tuesday. Man, that girl called me on the Friday. Was like, Coach, I don't think I want to wait the rest of the weekend. I'm waiting till my mama get home and let her know I'm coming. I said, oh, what changed? Like, well, I mean, you already gave away half my money, and at this point, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna run them times. You knew you weren't gonna run those times anyway. you knew you weren't gonna run those times anyway. I was taking you as you were your 12-2. I was taking your 12-2. They wanted her to run what was it, 11-6. Come on. And I didn't want to be back. We know what North Carolina A&T doing right now. Come on. You weren't going to A&T. You weren't going there.
I feel like I know who you're talking about, Coach. Even though I wasn't in those conversations,
you know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I've had that same conversation with him. So,
Charles.
Yeah.
Charles, you talking about going back to the dream killer, man. I never forget. I was coaching in middle school up in Charlotte, and the girl came to me. And she ran 17 seconds in 100. And she said, Uncle want to meet with me because he want her on a 4x1. And I'm trying to figure out, like, wait a minute. Like, you know how something's so crazy, you can't even explain it to him. So, yeah, that just made me think of that story you talking about the dream killer.
Ain't even a good 100 hurdle time.
Yeah. I'm like, I could beat you right now. No warm up, no nothing. I can just get out here and run that. So how can you get on the relay team? But
baby, you talking relays? You about to switch events? What is you talking about?
Yeah.
Now I'm not going because I don't know if this thing got a time limit on it or not. I put an hour and 30 minutes.
Okay.
But, ask y'all this. Why has South Carolina come so far? Because, I mean, compared to when I was running, I graduated in 2001, it's come so far. What, in y'all's opinion, why has the times have gotten faster? I mean, I remember when 21 low was like, you didn't really see that. You know, you might see 21 high, 22 low, 42 in the 4x1. But now, I mean, the times have just gotten so much faster. What do y'all accredit that to?
I think coaches are educated more, and athletes they run when we have like the indoor summer track. Even when I ran back then, it wasn't really a lot of summer track. So I think the times that they get to run, and I think coaches are more educated too.
Definitely, I would definitely agree on. I mean, outside of the kids, of course. I mean, just evolution, kids getting bigger, faster, stronger. Is definitely the coaching education. I definitely think I've talked to Brandon and Warren about. Definitely think we can do a better job of it across the board. But I mean, just from an education just from a track coaching education standpoint, I mean, I think majority of us probably on level 2 on this call right here, and so just that alone is going to help. And then there's just so much more education just out there for us now, I believe, and it's so ready available at the click of a button. Right. And you know, with all the Zoom meetings now and things of that nature, the coaches are sharing more. I think before, around when we were running, coaches were going off of what they were taught when they were running.
Right. The Indian run.
Look here, I don't know how many of them I did. Look, mine was 5s and 3s. My first 5 and 3 meters. Yeah, but I mean, it's. I mean, the coaching education is getting a lot better in this sport, man, and I think that's and also I think the athletes are becoming more students of the sport. YouTube is a great tool that we didn't have when we were coming up, and now they can go watch any sprinter that they see on TV. They can go watch hours upon hours of this person. And so it's things that cues that we might be giving them in practice, and it might not be clicking, but then they see it on this person. We didn't have that. We recording pin relays on VHS tapes. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just so readily available to them now. So I think that attributes to it.
I think nutrition too, man. I'm not sure all kids like that, but I know the girl I had that won state last year, and her was Ivy. She during the season, she wouldn't eat nothing but like vegetables, fruit, like baked food. But she didn't eat any like sweets or like any of that stuff. So I think some of them take the nutrition a little more serious too.
And I agree with the coaching the coaching has gotten better. Athletes bigger, faster, stronger. Access to things are better. We were the guinea pigs in our day, but you know, I think now also from a personal place of numbers that I do know, you know, those that don't know, my family being, you know, my parents being over AAU president and co-president for the state for AAU over these years, I knew 10 and 12 years ago, farther back and more, our state meet, even in AAU alone, you might have had anywhere between 5 to maybe 600 kids. And I would reach to say about 475 to maybe high fives kids in the state meet. Now, when you go to our state meet, and I knew for a fact even last year alone, well, I know the year before it's like 930, and I think last year was 1,200 kids in the state of South Carolina just for the state meet. So there's more and more kids with this information getting better, but running longer. And so, you know, they're running well into the summer. And so, and then when they go into their other sports, whatever they're doing or if not, and then like you say, those that are running under their clubs to go run indoor, then they got so much more experience. They're so much way more advanced than we were, than what we had. I mean, we were just going out there and just doing whatever we were told or whatever we thought was right. I was recording on VHS tape. My mama fussing at me, man. I'm recording over stuff just to try to get a glimpse of a Michael Johnson or Marius Green or whoever. So I think now they just got more meets, man, and they're running more, and it's just made them so much more experienced. And so the numbers are churning out. And I think, and when you look at our state numbers across the board from the state finals, most of those kids running USATF, AAU, they're running something, and they've seen each other a few times, you know. So I think that's the huge difference that's brought us along the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna end it on this one, but YouTube, they have a luxury there, because I remember in college we were trying to watch autobowling.com, and it just be buffering, and it might take 3 minutes to watch a 100-meter dash, and it was not the clearest thing in the world. So they are blessed, and they don't, you know, some of them don't know it because they've grown up with it, but man, they got a lot of things that we didn't have. So, but anything else you guys want to add for the sake of the track and field world before we get off here?
Good.
No, man,
just keep educating yourselves, man.
Yeah.
You know, especially with this downtime, with this COVID-19 out. You know, I think I put on Twitter last week, man. I feel like I'm going into information overload with everything that I'm just indulging myself into to make sure that my kids in the end get the best out of me. So, you know, just keep educating from a coach's standpoint, so we can pass this information along, man, so we can grow this sport.
Charles?
And I'm glad you said that. Please continue to keep educating yourself, but also especially for our younger, not young, I won't say younger coaches because I'm young, our coaches that haven't been coaching that long. Don't get on 100 of these Zoom meetings, write down everything that they said, and try to implement everything into your training program. You will be mad before you are happy with success. One of the funniest things I heard was Bobby Kersey at one of the Carolina clinics say, I can give you everything I do with Allison Felix, and it still won't work. Why? Because you ain't got Allison Felix.
Right.
That's true.
That's why
take a little bit of information in there. Take what can work for your program and go with that. Boy, don't go on this information overload and try to implement everything that you done heard, and you mess everybody up.
I'm like you, Charles. I take parts of whatever I know and I water it down depending on who I have, and you go get more success out of doing that than trying to do the whole
Yes.
my curses.
Yes.
I want to say this to y'all, man. Let's stay in contact. You know, I definitely would love to come to one of you guys' meets if I'm able to squeeze it in, man, and come down that way, and vice versa. I don't know. We got a brand new binding track that got put down this year. Man, it's an immaculate track. Hasn't been ran on except for the few times, well, the little bit that we practiced on it this year, and so that ended early. So so I mean, wonderful facility, turf field, plenty of stands, plenty of parking, everything you need, man. So let's kind of collab on something to kind of look at doing something different, man, and we put something nice together.
I'm with you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good.
All right.
Oh, good.
Brandon, thank you, Bo. This was great.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate
that,
y'all
Brandon.
doing it again. I appreciate y'all doing this. You know, obviously, I want to do some more stuff, man, moving forward. Like I said, I want to continue to grow the podcast and just obviously when we get back to our season, it's gonna be hard to do stuff, but I still want to try to do something every now and then with you guys, and you know, talk on different subjects. And I don't know what's gonna pop up, but we'll figure something out and get some more conversations going, man. I appreciate that, y'all.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you, man.
Y'all be safe.
No, man.
All right. God bless
All right.
y'all.